What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news for you, man, concerning Luis King Kong Ortiz. Him and his manager, Jay Jimenez, has stated that they're in talks of having a 3-fight deal with Eddie Hearn, so they can possibly make Luis Ortiz a star in the UK. Why is this big? It's big because, of course, there was talks about a fight between Dillian White and Luis Ortiz coming December 22nd, when Dillian White said, "I'll beat the old man, and I think he doesn't want to fight me anyway." And Luis Ortiz was like, "Hey, I'm on the undercard of Fury Wilder, so you know what? I'll break that to come over in your backyard and fight you." Okay, so then Eddie Hearn then replied with, the UK fans really would want to see the Chisora fight, which a lot of people disagreed with. You know what I mean? I had a kind of tug of war with who wanted to see what. I wanted to see White Ortiz, you know what I mean, along with a lot of diehard fans or whatnot. But, now this 3-fight deal is being made, and it makes a lot of sense because now the floodgates are open. You see what I mean? Look at Canelo has joined the zone. See, when people see that type of money thrown around, tossed around, shown, signed up for, they get real. And I've been telling people for the last 2 months about this DAZN app. I've been telling people that money is there. You know what I mean? You think they did not have the money if they signed $365 million to Canelo Alvarez? You know what I mean? If you think they didn't have that money? So what do you think other fighters are going to do when they see that? That's the whole thing you ask yourself. That's what I told people. I said, everybody talking, Adrian Broner and all these guys that were Al Heyman. I said this. I said this time and time again. That DAZN app, when money talks, bullshit runs a marathon. You know what I mean? I told that to people. And if people wouldn't listen, people, oh, well, we'll see. Especially other boxing channels, they were against the idea just because Eddie Hearn had it. But I mean, I know it's hard to not like a promoter, and then because you don't like a promoter, you don't really, it's not the best thing to do to join a new idea. You know what I mean? That promoter or that owner of that promotional company is attached to. I get that. You know what I mean? So that's why people were like, you know what? Nah, Eddie Hearn. I don't like Eddie Hearn. He's a knob. You know what I mean? This and that and the other. But he started this whole thing. Now, you think the Canelo fight, with Rocky Philman had nothing to do with Canelo signing a deal. He had to get an initial fight first. Is like a tester. And he liked the numbers. The numbers are impeccable. These are like contracts that baseball players get. Look at Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford's looking at it now. I bet you he's looking at it like, you know what? I got $33 million for like 9 years or something like that. No, 5 years or something. And this guy gets $365 million. Man, that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. And you think other people are not signing on. You got poor guys like Earl Spence. He's frustrated. He can't find a fight. He can't get a fight. You know what I mean? How long you think that's going to happen? And in hindsight, if Spence wanted to fight, he said he wanted to fight Canelo, right? How you think he's going to do that? Man down promotions are going to be man up promotions, because if he wants to be that superstar like he claims he wants to, he's going to have to get with the program like everybody else. So Deontay Wilder, I don't know about Tyson Fury. We'll see after that fight's over, but I think I picked Wilder to knock out Fury. If Wilder knocks out Fury, what's going to happen is if he doesn't agree to terms, he's going to be left in the dark fighting the same people, because he can't fight Luis Ortiz anymore. If he has a 3-fight deal in the UK, maybe not. If he signed with Eddie Hearn, because if he's so anti-Eddie Hearn, he won't get a fight. And I know what Eddie Hearn is doing. Eddie Hearn is like this. Okay, Luis Ortiz, we all know he's dangerous. He's avoidable. People avoid him. You know what I mean? Let's sign him. Let's get him to fight Chisora. You know what I mean? And if from Chisora, he beats Chisora, he then fights Dillian White. And if he gets past White, then we'll give him the prize, which is Joshua. By that time, he's been through two guys, but then 2 out of 3 of his contract has been obligated. Then when he fights Anthony Joshua, cool. Then he gets the other that third fight because it's a 3-fight deal, right? I already see how that's gonna work out. And then if Deontay Wilder's still on the diva train, still saying, "Hey, we won't fight him," letting Shelley Finkel and other people persuade his decision, he's gonna be left in the dark. And this is how this is gonna work. See, if all the fighters join the zone. Okay, you already you had Anthony Joshua. Now you got Canelo Alvarez. Now you're going to sign Luis Ortiz, another dangerous heavyweight with only 1 loss. You know what I mean? They don't need you necessarily. And in the same way that Wilder and Fury tried to, kind of freeze out Joshua, it was just undeniable because things like this happened. They didn't want to talk about Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? So, it's crazy, man, because the money is there, man. The Charlo brothers, what you think they're going to do? What do you really think they're going to do? When they see that. They once already said, well, we'll at least hear him out. You know what I mean? $3 million a fight. Like Danny Jacobs said, he's another one. Danny Jacobs. Magic Man Danny Jacobs is part of Matchroom. And he's happy. Every time you see him, he's smiling. You know what I mean? He's smiling. Look. People are going to have to understand these boxers. You can stay proud. You can pretend like this isn't going on, but sooner or later, boxing is coming the way of the future. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe me? Like I said before, think about Blockbuster Video. How long was Blockbuster Video really around? Years. And it was the Blockbuster in Hollywood, right? That was like McDonald's and Burger King. Those places like that, you go in, you get about 4 or 5 movies, you spend about $25, right? You might get some popcorn, pick up a 2-liter of Coke, a Sprite or something like that, and you go home with your date. It was cool. It was a good experience. But it outdated itself because something else moved into the picture. Redbox. They're like, well, why would you do that when you could just pop up? Because everyone wants things instant. You know what I mean? We want things quickly. We don't want to wait. We don't want to pay late fees. You know what I mean? We don't want to pay $4 or $5 for a movie. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Where's Blockbuster? Done. A distant memory. Hollywood Video shortly behind that. And pay-per-view and things like that, maybe special occasions, but people have got smart. Corporations, companies have got smart because they realize that stuff like Fire Stick, see, that's what happens when you create shit like that rips off a lot of people's money. See, back when I watched boxing since I was a kid, okay? And I got all the pay-per-view fights, all the Roy Jones, all the Trinidad fights, the Julio Cesar Chavez fights, the De La Hoya fights, the Vargas fights, the Sugar Shanes. I got all of them. The Marco Antonio Barreras, the Eric Morales fights. I got all the fights. I bought them, and I was glad to pay them. There was nothing wrong with them. You don't have to do that now. You see what I'm saying? No one has to do that. All they got to do is go up to Best Buy and buy a Fire Stick and download a bunch of shit to it. And then you could watch and stream a fight live, which, it was unfortunate because now companies had to protect their better interest. When you had fights like Triple G and Canelo Part 2, right? And in that fight, these guys gave their blood, sweat, and tears for that fight. And then they got about the same amount, knowing damn well that should have been doubled. If people weren't buying Fire Sticks or finding an illegal way to watch pay-per-view, those numbers would have been probably doubled. You know what I mean? So to avoid all that, what did they do? What did Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez do? They went to the DAZN app because, hey, I want my money up front. These people are streaming are fire sticking this shit. So we need a way to guarantee we're gonna get all our money up front. You know what I mean? Let's get a solid salary, a guaranteed salary, right? Sure, they might get spiffs and incentives after that, but it doesn't really matter because they're getting their money up front. So Canelo's set. He's set because he signed that contract to DAZN. Now people have to, and if you want to watch DAZN, you want to watch ESPN Plus, you're going to have to subscribe to that app. You know what I mean? And there's really no way around that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't go buy anything to get app free. You got to download the app, and downloading the app is going to cost you. You know what I mean? So it was a smart move, but it was necessary because of what, we talked about. Like, look at Netflix. Netflix has billions of dollars. A lot of people were complaining about, in our industry, a lot of people were complaining about residuals and things of that nature. Things are going to Netflix, and then we won't get the residuals that we need, because it's a Netflix show. Well, if Netflix is able to pay an actor or an actress 2 or 3 times what their salary is, yeah, you're damn right they're going to take that original Netflix show. You know what I mean? How many Netflix shows that you see that are off the chain? Orange is the New Black. That's like a top show. Black Mirror. That's like, it's a British show, but it's like a top show. You know what I mean? Those type of shows like that, they're able to pay. And you see top quality actors, Robert De Niro, Russell Crowe, Will Smith. He did Bright on there. Don't want to get too off. Let me digress. But, just using that as an example of how DAZN is so successful now. You know what I mean? People and other fighters are going to come because they have seen what other fighters have made. Sure, they're not going to make what Canelo's going to make. No. But in hindsight, they know what they're going to do is, okay, they know, hey, the more Americans come to that app, the more they have the power. The more they have the power, the more they have control. You see what I mean? So Al Heyman, I'm interested to see what Al Heyman's going to do with his fighters because he has a lot of fighters. You know what I mean? He has a gang of fighters over there. You got Danny Garcia, you got Sean Porter, you got Keith Thurman, and even Al Heyman, you got Adrian Broner. You got, Errol Spence, he claims all man down promotion. Well, you better man up, like I said before, because you better man up promotions. You better change your promotional company because you can't find fights over there. I've said that. I've already stated that. You can't find no fights over there. I've been telling people, well, damn, Errol Spence, he's talking about wrong side of the street, but he can't even find a fight on his side of the street. All right? He will over there. See, it's gonna happen, man. This is a movement. This is the future. You know what I mean? This is the future, and you see how things are going, and guess how it's going? Quick. Very quickly. No one's wasting time. Canelo didn't waste time. Golden Boy didn't waste time. Now Golden Boy's fights are on there. No, they don't have to exclusively be on there, but Canelo's is. So if Canelo's doing that, people are going to follow the money. People are going to follow the success. And that's success, dude. That's like AJ's contract back in 2003. A-Rod. You know what I mean? Remember A-Rod, they signed him for $380 million? I think it was for Texas Rangers. That's like that. Those are like baseball contracts. You think they're not going to take that money? These people are dying in the ring, bro. Boxers are dying in the ring. You have people being permanently hurt in the ring, punch drunk, can't remember. You know what I mean? Can't even physically take care of themselves. Yes, this is a risk. So you think they're not going to go for the reward? Are you tripping? Look, guys. This DAZN, even ESPN Plus, DAZN and ESPN are the top competitors. But that's the same app-based platforms. You know what I mean? That's the future. That's what we're looking at right now. So it's just an official application, and it's going to be more friendlier to watch on television. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. And then you're doing it for $9 a month. +5 if you got both like me, because I got both of them. So, but Luis Ortiz, he deserves that money because it's a lot of fighters like Luis Ortiz was avoided for so long that then when they finally did get the opportunity, you know what I mean, they weren't, so he's one of the most skilled heavyweights. So I think he deserves a 3-fight deal. Honestly, I would want to see him fight Dillian White next, not a year from now or 6 months from now, but next. But I am glad he's getting his money. So congratulations to Luis Ortiz. I hope the deal is successful, and other fighters are surely to come, and you can mark my words on that. So big ups to DAZN, big ups to Eddie Hearn for being the pioneer, because that's what it comes from. And, hey, we'll just look for the future, look for the best. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this news. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.